Today we have with us Todd Irvine, and Todd is part of the family who run Ziggy's, which is a very well-known fresh produce marketplace here in Canberra, in Fyshwick and in Belconnen. Todd, welcome to Specialists in Communications.
Thank you, lovely to be here.
Now, this month is Supermarket Free Month, so we wanted to promote some of our favourite businesses and talk about how important it is to support local and how this is a really good month to try and get behind some of your local businesses. There's a beautiful family history behind Ziggy's in Canberra. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to own two stores, or how the family came to own two stores in both Belconnen and Fyshwick?
It goes back to the 1950s even with my gran and pop, Henry and Winifred. Henry was a well-renowned builder in Yass, and he built a few embassies and things in Canberra around that time, and his business was really booming, and he needed to buy himself a truck to transport all the materials and things around with. So back in those days, if you bought a second-hand truck, it usually came with a job. And so when he bought it, it came with a load of spuds. And he thought, what am I going to do with this? So he drove around Canberra and sold all of his spuds to restaurants and cafes and things at the time. Thought, you beaut, this is easier than building. Might look into this. So in 1959, they took over the Neptune fuel station in Yass, which is just as you come into Yass there, coming from Canberra side. So that was 1959. Then my father, Ken, he worked there ever since he was a little kid. He worked all through school, after school, during school, you name it, he was there. And then in 1985, him and my mother, Tony, they set up their own shop in Young, cherry capital of Australia there in New South Wales. And so from there, they ran a shop and a transport company, predominantly running from the Young Cool stores and the Sydney markets, and doing freight for that big growing region in New South Wales there. So from there, I've got two older brothers. We were all going to school in Canberra at the time. And so in 2002, the whole family moved to Canberra. And then 2003, my family took over from Ziggys Fresh. Ziggys Fresh was Ziggy's Garden Fresh at the time. It was a family-owned business and had been operating here in Canberra since 1972. It was one of the original family-owned greengrocers. It was the original business of the Belconnen markets, and that's why it kind of really appealed to us, that it had a great family history to it already, that we were keen to add to ourselves. So in 2003, Ziggy's Belconnen was taken over by the Irvine family, and then in 2008, where there was a great appeal to us with the logical evolution for our business, was to open up Fyshwick, the other predominant market in Canberra. And in 2008, they did the renovations there and became a whole bigger, better thing. And so in 2008, we opened up our store in Fyshwick.
It's such an amazing story, really. In itself, it shows there's a lot of support for that fresh, local produce within Canberra. The fact that you're able to build on that business base not long after sort of taking on the store at Belconnen.
There's a lot of loyalty we picked up very early, a lot of goodwill. We did a really, really good job in those early years at Belconnen here that gave us a really good reputation.
There's a strong push for buying local, particularly since COVID. And we all know fresh is best. What can you say that consumers get from you when they come to Ziggy's that they perhaps don't get from the supermarkets, the bigger supermarkets?
First of all, they're going to get freshness, quality, range, and comfort in knowing that the produce is coming from someone that is truly passionate about our industry. And I know that might sound a bit ridiculous, but there is a lot to do with it when it comes down to our ordering and all our attention to detail and things. It's pure and utterly, you won't get anything like it at a supermarket. The friendly service, everything about your local greengrocer truly means something to us. It's not just a name or a title. We take great pride in the work that we do in our community and the product that we put on presentation and you take home.
And I guess one of the main concerns with the monopoly of chain supermarkets is the return that is often provided to farmers, which sometimes isn't great. How do you see yourself, or how does your family see yourselves as playing an important role in this space?
Something that we've always believed in is coexistence, whether that be working with our competitors in the market here or whether it be other businesses around us or our producers and our suppliers. We have a great relationship with our growers, and we have a great understanding of the process, the costs involved, and the way things can be manipulated by external factors, by the weather, for example, the weather. A lot of farmers have an agreed price that is forced upon them by chain stores, and that can really be quite damaging to them. If they get hit by a flood, they've still got to hit that sale, and they've still got to give it at that price. They can lose, say, bushfire comes along, and they lose half their crop. They still have to sell the crop that they have at that agreed price. And there's a lot of control in the pricing and what they have to do by the chain stores. And so we don't put any pressure at all on our growers. We know that they need to make money in order for our industry to survive and to thrive. First and foremost, they need to be successful. We understand that you've got to coexist. You can't just go, we want to be the cheapest. We want to go out and kind of squeeze every dollar we can out of every grower, because there's no future in that. You've got to be in it together. And we have a really kind of, and it comes back to coming from Young and Yass. We have a great relationship with a lot of growers and things in that area. And doing the freight that Dad did in those periods as well, is he has a really good relationship with those growers. When Batlow got hit by those fires, by the bushfires, and I know a lot of New South Wales and right across Australia were hit, but it was truly depressing seeing Batlow in particular getting affected. And we did a big fundraiser for them. I think we raised about $4,000, may have been a bit less than that, through sales of Batlow apples. And we really pushed Batlow apples for the rest of the year to try and get their sales up and to try and help them out in whatever way we could.
And that's the difference, isn't it, between a large supermarket chain and a local business. You are able to create those relationships and those connections and help each other out when times are tough.
Compared to the chain stores, there's probably, the chain of communication to the grower and back is just one person where, we deal with a lot of growers and we deal with a lot of, the people in the store aren't necessarily communicating with growers or know the grower by name or know anything about the industry. Where with us, we know we look at the family name of the fruit when it comes in on the sticker on the box and things like that. And there's probably about 10 growers right now that we know personally that have got their stock in the shop. So no, probably more than 10, but yeah, it's a relationship built business.
During this supermarket free month, if you were trying to convince a shopper who generally uses the chain supermarkets to do their shopping, and purely for convenience sometimes, I guess, for some people, how would you convince them to come to Ziggy's and consider buying local and looking more broadly afield at what their options are to back away from those chain supermarkets a little and support smaller local businesses like yourself?
Come in for the positive experience. It's positive in many ways. You'll be happier because you've got the range, the quality, the freshness. Your project's going to last longer. Quite often, by the end of your shop, you probably will come out ahead shopping with us than at the chain store. They might have a few lost leaders that may look cheaper, but all in all, you won't save money because you're going to be throwing stuff out by the time you're done with it if you buy at the chain store, generally speaking. But it's positive as well that shopping local has such a great impact on the local economy, where it come back to paying for taxes and the money staying locally and things like that. I'm able to help out now with the school fete in the local area, or I'm able to donate to a charity. We're able to employ more people, more locals, and to put back into the economy, into the local community that way. So that's one of the things that I would say is that it's all round a positive experience supporting your local greengrocer, because your local greengrocer will support you back.
Todd Irvine, thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for the wonderful contribution that Ziggy's makes to our local community.
Thanks a lot for having us on here and giving us the opportunity.